Hello there everyone, my name is Nathan Birch. Today we're going to be talking about project organization for week 3. Now you downloaded a template project in week 1, and we've kind of looked through that and have seen a bit of how things work in that project for the last couple of weeks. Today we're going to dive more into the need to organize a project and a couple of ways that you can work with project organization. With that, why worry about organizing a project? Okay, well, as you may guess, there are lots of benefits. Okay, poorly organized projects lead to unreadable and messy code. They cause longer development time. Now, there may be some dispute on this. You know, I could go and write an HTML page and throw all my styles in line and throw all of my JavaScript code right into the HTML file. I don't have to worry about making any other files. I could end up with this nice, beautiful HTML file that's like 2,000 lines long with all of my style, all of my JavaScript and everything all in one place. Now, I might be able to throw that together really fast, but in the long term, it's going to cause longer development time because it's going to cause unforeseen bugs. It's going to take me a long time to find where things are at and work with things, and it will eventually cause me lots of issues because I don't have a well-organized project structure. Leads to useless repetition. Okay, anytime I'm doing my hotkeys Control-C and Control-V to copy and paste something, I could be doing it a better way. Okay, with programming languages where they're at today, we never really need to copy and paste anything. Okay, if we organize a project well, then we can use modular bits of code in several different circumstances and not have to worry about copying and pasting. Poorly organized projects cause difficulty implementing new features. All right, if I have a single file of code that's like thousands of lines of code long, it'll be really hard to add new features to that and make them work in that environment. By contrast, well-organized projects promote clean and readable code, achieve modular and reusable pieces of code across an application. They allow a project to scale. It'll be a lot easier to add to a project if I have a well-organized project. It requires thought up front to organize a project, but then it requires much less work through overall project development. So, MVC, what is it? It is a project or a product development architecture that allows you to create applications that separate the different aspects of the application, input logic, business logic, and UI logic, while providing loose coupling between those elements. Okay? MVC stands for Model View Controller. Now, you have already seen this a little bit in your project template that you downloaded. We have views currently, we have routes. We haven't really set up controllers or models yet, but as we start incorporating data into our projects, you will see these things emerge, okay? But the model represents your data in your code. All right, there is almost a mirroring of data in the model as they're against a database. Okay, the model reflects the information that's in a database. The view is what the user actually sees, and it's decoupled from application code. Okay, it won't reflect what's in a database. That is one of the ways that I can help keep my database secure. The routes, though, we have looked at routes and how to load EJS files and even pass data to EJS files in our project, but we'll also have controllers in there that will connect the models to the views. Okay, they'll kind of act as a middleman. They contain the in-between logic. Okay, just like the routes do. All right, if I want to load a view, it'll be loaded through the route. If I want to load it with data, if I want to retrieve data from the model, from the database, it'll all go through the routes, through the controllers, and then up to the view. Okay. So the model is a representation of knowledge or data. Could be a single object or a structure of objects. Should maintain a one-to-one relationship between the model and the represented world. The view is a visual representation of the model. It displays data based on user actions. So if I click on something or if I search for something on a page, that will drive what data ends up being retrieved from my database. The view highlights certain attributes of the model. Remember, the model is kind of coming from the data layer in our application. Okay, so if I search for a painting in a store, my application will go ahead and retrieve that data, And maybe there's a bunch of data in my database for paintings, but I might only see a title, a description, and a price show up on the page in the view. But maybe what the model had or what the controller saw and filtered out was also, reviews or issues or an ID or some statistics on how many paintings have been purchased, all sorts of different things that the user might not care about or need at a given time. The view suppresses certain attributes of the model. It is a presentation filter. Retrieves data by sending requests to the model. The controller has routes, which we already talked about. It links the user and the system. It arranges relevant views to present themselves. So just like we were looking at with EJS, the controller decides what EJS files are going to be rendered. It takes in user commands, sends commands to the model for data updates or changes, sends instructions to the view to update the interface. All right. So this is from section 7, video 104 in our Academine course. The model and the view and the controller. Okay, so just high level what each of them do. All right. Now the project that you guys have, the template that you downloaded, is conducive to this MVC architecture. So if we look at this, a project that I have on my computer is called CSE341 faculty, and we have controllers, and we also have public, we have routes, views, and so these are some of the pieces of this project. Okay, now you can see here we have a spot for controllers to be set up. Anything public we can have is right here. Our routes, we looked at this a little bit last week, but they're organized in depth based on file type or assignment type. Okay, so I have routes for class activities, routes for my proof assignments, route for team assignments. Now, if I was looking at like an e-commerce application, I might have routes for a store page or a products page. I might have routes for user settings and preferences and information. And I might have admin or administrator routes so that I could change those things, or an administrator could change data in the application from there. Views. Inside these pages, I could also separate out the views. I could have class views and prove views and team views. Partials are things that I will include in multiple places. So let's say I have a product or a card module, if you will, that includes like a heading and an image and a price and a 5-star rating or something. And I have all of that nicely organized into a responsive card. All right, that might be a partial that I'll use on a search page as well as a product description page, okay, that I would use in multiple places, and I wouldn't want to have to copy and paste that code. All right, and then we have all these other files that are needed to kind of run our project, okay? So here we just go a little bit deeper. These are, for this prove 03, we have controllers, we have data coming just from these JSON files. We have models, what the cart and item models are going to look like, and then we have routes, okay? And then I have an index.js for all of these. This, again, all of these things, we have controllers, data, models, and routes. Here we have inside of our pages a prove 03, and then a bunch of pages. We have admin, pages, partials, store, and so all of these are kind of organized by group in this application. Okay, routes in detail. So we looked a little bit at this, but this is just in my team activity 03 file. So however this page was loaded, this team activity 03, however it's connected to the other routes in my application, this just says that it's going to be like the home page for my team activity 03. And when we hit that link, then we'll go ahead and run this process JSON. If we hit it with a post, then it'll go ahead and render this page, and it'll pass this data to that page to load on that page. Now here we can see that we have our index.js, and we're saying, hey, use for our home, we'll use this routes file. Okay, and this routes is just coming from an index.js file in my routes directory. And there are a bunch more. Then I have team routes and prove routes and class routes, and each one of those has an index. And so, but this is pretty much all that's needed. Okay, here's the index.js file that you see, class, team, and prove activities, links for each one of those. And then, so if I wanted to go to team activities, I'd just say localhost 5000/team activities, and it'll pull up this team activities page. Okay, well that looks like this. It says, hey, use team activities 01, and we'll have the route for that be localhost/team activities/01, and that is where this / comes from. That's the home page. Okay, and then we also have 02, 03, 04, and then a home page for the team activities that'll just show all the team activities. Okay, and that is pretty much it. So if you guys have any questions, please speak with your class, but I hope that this was helpful for you guys. Thanks.